This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Southlanders are now a little clearer about why Colombian refugees are heading their way. New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters is calling for an inquiry into the activities of Nationalist MP Jian Yang. And Green leader James Shaw promises a fourfold increase to the per student funding for all institutions if elected. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. Southlanders are now a little clearer about why Colombian refugees are heading their way. A meeting in Invercargill last night was addressed by former Colombian citizens as well as Southlanders preparing to welcome the first refugees next year. Sharon Rees reports.
Geronimo Hernandez is a happy, healthy Colombian boy living in Invercargill. Last night he accompanied his mother Adriana Rincon, who spoke out for Colombian refugees who have so far missed the chance of being as happy and healthy as her own baby boy.
Some of us choose to leave Colombia, finding or looking for better opportunities. These people cannot choose, and they are facing a really bad situation that they faced a few years ago.
She was one of 5 guest speakers at the meeting to explain plans to resettle Colombian refugees in Invercargill. Speakers told of 50 years of war in Colombia, and although a peace agreement signed last year was big progress, millions have been displaced by the conflict.
Parts of the country, there are groups affected by paramilitary or by gangs that are there that make it unsafe for them, and they are forced to leave Ecuador for their own safety and their family's safety, and out of Colombia and into Ecuador for safety. They don't choose to do that, they are forced to do that.
Some members of the audience raised concerns about a lack of housing and employment for the refugees, but most gave messages of support.
If we had a choice of any country in the world bringing these people in, I think they're going to add to this society like you wouldn't believe. And don't think for 1 minute they're going to be a drain. They will give back way more than we give them. Thanks.
Invercargill Mayor Tim Shadbolt raised concerns about the resettlement plan when it was first announced in May. However, last night he expressed his support for the refugees. The first 15 Colombian refugees are due to arrive in the city in March. I'm Sharon Rees for The South Today.
A near collision between a mobility scooter and a boy in Oamaru on Tuesday has prompted police to remind scooter users they do not own the footpath. Sergeant Tony Woodbridge of Oamaru Police says about several people reported a scooter being driven too fast in the Pembroke Street area. The man alleged to have been in charge of the vehicle has been spoken to about his actions. Woodbridge says the man received a formal warning and now knows the rules for using the vehicle. New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters says his party has thrown its support behind a new hospital for Dunedin. Peters is also calling for an inquiry into the activities of Nationalist MP Jian Yang. Roselle Labone has more.
MP Winston Peters says New Zealand has been exposed to being a pawn of the Chinese Communist government because of the influence of Nationalist MP Jian Yang. He says National must act and Dr Yang must step aside. I'm Roselle Labone. Speaking at a public meeting in Dunedin today, New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters described what he calls a lack of transparency from Nationalist MP Jian Yang over his involvement in China's secret intelligence agencies.
We became vulnerable the moment the National Party recruited the list MP Jian Yang. His decade of work with the Chinese military intelligence has only now been opened up but not yet laid bare, and it's no use in saying I was only teaching the English language. Really? You're the only English language teacher they could find?
Speaking to a crowded forward room at the Dunedin Centre, Peters went on to say the southern economy is hanging by a thread while jobs drift north.
Health underfunding, educational underfunding, mental health underfunding, law and order underfunding, dock underfunding, infrastructure underfunding. You wouldn't stop, you'd probably get to 15. And all that underfunding represents a weak economy.
When it comes to the economy, Peters says New Zealand should be emulating countries like Norway.
We'll give you the chance to get back to work with a decent wage, but you are going to work. This is not going to be an optional matter. I think it's too cold down here in Dunedin this morning. I won't be getting up. Oh, yes, you will.
His policies for stimulating the regional economy include a wage subsidy for small businesses that provide work experience and incentives for small businesses to help young people become work ready and support mature job seekers back into work. Roselle Lebone, The South Today.
A person has been treated for smoke inhalation after a house fire in Dunedin last night. A Fire and Emergency New Zealand spokesman says firefighters were called to the East Avenue house in the suburb of St Kilda just before 10:13 p.m. Fire and Emergency New Zealand says it was a relatively small fire and believed it to be in the laundry. The condition of the person who suffered smoke inhalation is unknown. Green leader James Shaw has promised a fourfold increase to the per-student funding for all tertiary institutions. It's just one of the measures announced at a Green Party visit to the University of Otago yesterday. Roselle Lebone has more.
The Green Party has promised students like these ones at a policy meeting yesterday in Dunedin universal postgraduate student allowances, free transport for apprentices and students, and an extension of student loan limits beyond 7 years. Greens leader James Shaw says all student allowances will be increased by 20%.
A student who's under the age of 24, not living with their parents, receives $39.50 more every week, straight up, no matter what.
Shaw says cutting postgraduate funding after 2012 had a huge impact on students going on to further their education.
It does shut people out, moving more people into debt like that and dip into their savings if they've got any to survive on. So, many courses like, clinical psychology, for example, require postgrad.
The Green Party package also includes lifting the minimum wage and changing the abatement rate to allow those receiving an allowance to earn more part-time. The move would cost about $300 million a year. Shaw says he is unconcerned by the latest opinion poll, which shows the Greens below the 5% threshold to make it back to Parliament on September the 23rd. Roselle Lebone, The South Today.
Still to come on The South Today, Jacinda Ardern commits to publicly funding a new public health facility in Westport if elected. And yesterday a protest group turned up at the University of Otago to express thanks.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
The Royal New Zealand Ballet presents a brand new production of Romeo and Juliet by Francesco Ventriglia. Book now at rnzb.org.nz.
If you're staring at empty walls, stare no longer. The Dunedin Art Show has arrived. Visit Dunedin's largest ever art show and take part in Otago's art sales event of the year. View and buy original artworks from established and emergent New Zealand artists. Thousands of artworks priced from $50. Opening night gala Thursday the 21st of September, with show days from Friday the 22nd to Sunday the 24th from 10 a.m. at the Edgar Centre, Andersons Bay. Visit the DunedinArtShow.co.nz for tickets and more info.
We're at 25 Moray Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focused on the craft of what we're doing. We're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Just think, 80 years ago, this year, my grandfather set up Alex Campbell Menswear right on Cargill's Corner in South Dunedin. We've had some great years bringing Otago and Southland the very best of menswear for both business and everyday needs.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikoai Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
Feel the soothing effects of sunny chins, back manipulation and crystal therapy. 1 hour half price special for the month of September. Normally $110, now $55. Book your session today.
The University of Otago, New Zealand's only true collegiate university. For first-year students, the history, the expectations of excellence are
unfamiliar.
G'day, I'm next door.
Hi, next door. I'm Samantha Pascoe.
No, you're not. I'm Josh, Clyde, Science. And you are?
Sam, Hastings, Law and Arts.
Tane, Auckland, Commerce. Osaka, Greece, Classics. History.
Louis Anderson, Charlie Hiku, do you promise to love each other as lifetime partners in marriage, with fleas or without, sharing walks together and never fighting over scraps of food or bones?
Welcome back. Heavy earth-moving equipment is in place ready to clear the slip that has blocked Lakeside Road in Wanaka for almost a week. While diggers and trucks are parked near the slip, there is still no word about when the clearing work might start. The slip originated from a building site being prepared for a new apartment development. The Queenstown Lakes District Council has approved plans by the developer to clear the slip and put a temporary concrete retaining wall in place. The lane nearest the lake is likely to be cleared first. Jacinda Ardern spoke at the Regent Theatre in Greymouth this morning. In her speech was her commitment to publicly fund a new public health facility in Westport. The South Today was there.
A crowd of enthusiastic supporters turned up to hear Jacinda Ardern promise Westport a new hospital.
We're here today to talk about local projects that will enhance the quality of life for the people in your area because of your advocacy. Who owns that hospital? Almost half the equivalent population of Westport signed a petition to say, keep it in Crown hands. Do not make this a public-private partnership. And that is my commitment to you. We are redeveloping on the Buller site because it will be a Labor government who does it and a Labor government who delivers it.
Despite her hectic schedule, including a visit to Polyfest in Dunedin tomorrow, she still had time to meet the locals as well as pose for selfies with Cobden school pupils. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Yesterday, a protest group turned up at the University of Otago to express thanks for the institution's action on fossil fuels. The South Today went to find out more.
There's been plenty of protests held over the years in front of the university's clock tower. But yesterday saw something different, with smiles all round. Gifts were given to Green Party candidate Shane Montague-Gallagher for him to pass on to University Vice-Chancellor Harleen Haynes.
And this wee card which says thank you for ethically investing for all our futures. So thanks so much, Shane. Thanks for coming along today.
The gifts mark 1 year since the University of Otago stopped investing its finances in fossil fuels, and Claudia Palmer of the protest group Students for Environmental Action said they were part of the university's divestment process.
We were involved in that lobbying process, and so we're here today to congratulate them on being leaders of this fossil-free movement. It's really important in the global and local community that the university acts responsibly and ethically.
Montague Gallagher seemed to think that the university's actions are now in step with the Green Party's often cited goals.
The university is nearly 150 years old and we want to see it flourish in the next 150 years as well, and to do that we just have to address the serious issues of our age, which is sustainability and climate change.
A mocked-up burning couch symbolises the group's disapproval of liberating carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
Uni doesn't like us burning couches, and we agree with that too. We're environmentalists. We don't like putting carbon in the atmosphere, but we also think burning oil and gas isn't responsible either.
According to Claudia Palmer, the City Council's activities are next in the protest group's sights. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
After the break on The South Today, South Dunedin's Bathgate Park School was forced to close its doors today due to a power issue, and Southern residents at Invercargill's Peacehaven Village are displaying their artistic flair.
From rare to the recent, visit the legendary Hard to Find for your quality second-hand books, with the largest stock in New Zealand and a friendly book-loving atmosphere. For good prices, buying or selling, come visit 20 Dowling Street.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product, and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Feel the soothing effects of sunny chins, back manipulation and crystal therapy. 1 hour half price special for the month of September. Normally $110, now $55. Book your session today.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
The Gate Hospitality and Tourist Centre is a standout attraction of Cromwell and Central Otago for travellers and locals alike, featuring the Harvest Hotel, which is Central Otago's gateway accommodation, featuring standard and premium rooms, which open onto breathtaking mountain, vineyard and rural views. The Harvest Hotel also has a relaxing, sun-trapped courtyard and standalone conference and wedding centre. The Hunting Lodge-themed Five Stags Bar and Restaurant provides an honest, welcoming, family-friendly place to grab a great feed and a relaxing beverage. Forage Information Centre and Cafe is light and spacious and serves fabulous food and bedazzling beverages and offers information and booking services. In every season, for every reason, the Gate Hospitality and Tourist Centre has something for everyone.
For 3 generations, the Kilpatrick family have ensured Jimmy's pies are still world famous in the South Island. Made to an old family recipe, Jimmy's pies have been one of New Zealand's traditional takeaway foods, prepared daily on the premises alongside a range of savouries, sausage rolls and cakes. Jimmy's pies are distributed throughout the lower South Island. Jimmy's pies are sure to satisfy your travelling munchies.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Just think, 80 years ago, this year, my grandfather set up Alex Campbell Menswear right on Cargill's Corner in South Dunedin. We've had some great years, bringing Otago and Southland the very best of menswear for both business and everyday needs.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Fall in love this winter with the Royal New Zealand Ballet's Romeo and Juliet, a brand new ballet by Francesco Ventriglia. Be transported to the world of Shakespeare's great romance with ravishing designs by Oscar winner James Aitchison and Prokofiev's classic score. Book now at rnzb.org.nz.
Thanks for staying with us. South Dunedin's Bathgate Park School was forced to close its doors today due to a power issue. The principal hopes it will be open tomorrow, but depends on whether work can be completed on time.
All quiet in the old school yard, except for the heavy machinery. Dunedin's Bathgate Park School was forced to close today because an electrical fault knocked out the school's boiler.
The Board of Trustees at Bathgate Park School and myself have decided that for health and safety reasons the school need to be closed today. We've had an unforeseen electrical issue which has caused our boiler to be unable to be operating, and while it is quite mild outside when you go into the classrooms, there is a notable temperature difference. So for the health and safety of the students, we've decided to close today.
Acting Principal Katrina Robertson says according to Ministry of Education guidelines, New Zealand schools cannot legally open if it's too cold inside a classroom.
I contacted the Ministry of Education yesterday just to get some information from them, and 16 degrees is the recommended and legal temperature that a school needs to be able to operate at. Because of the nature of our electrical difficulties, it means that the boiler and a lot of our power outlets aren't working, so that means that plug-in heaters, things like that, were considered, but because we can't plug them in and have them operating, and for health and safety reasons again, we've chosen not to do that. We're definitely not 16 degrees in the classrooms.
The school has a roll of around 190 pupils, and Katrina Robertson hopes the issues will be fixed in time for school to open tomorrow. She asks that parents watch the school's Facebook page this evening and tomorrow morning for updates.
We are really at a wait and see mode. I'll know more later on today so I can let our families and community know. At the moment, I'm anticipating that we will have electricity back to the school by the end of the day, so that'd be fine. The problem then becomes still with our boiler, whether it needs to be reset or whether it's all good just to act as normal, and we won't know that till either later on today or first thing tomorrow morning.
Robertson also says they're talking with their phone company to sort out a glitch in the phone system which had the school's main phone line rerouted to an Auckland man's mobile phone. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
Bathgate Park School has just announced it will open tomorrow. Sorry, kids. And staff and residents at Invercargill's Peacehaven Village are displaying their artistic flair in a new exhibition. Sharon Rees has more.
A familiar New Zealand lake scene by an amateur painter on the staff of Peacehaven Village Retirement Home. Susan Slaughter signs her paintings under her maiden name of Cook, and she's one of the Peacehaven staff members encouraged to join a monthly painting challenge. That challenge led to an exhibition which opened at the South City Mall yesterday.
Some of that challenge that the staff had set themselves at the beginning of the year, which is pick a famous artist, and they did. They had, like, Van Gogh, I think, was for January, and we had to paint a telephone in his style, and so they did. And all these artists came out of the woodwork. We didn't know how many we had.
The artwork of 14 staff and residents is being shown, including staff member Tanya Sutton, who focuses on the finer detail of nature, and resident Jack McDonald, who didn't pick up a paintbrush until he was 60 years old.
We've got photos from Annie Allen. We've got painting thermal material by Janet. We've got Yvonne, who's done patchwork on a pillow. We've got toys that Mandy has made. She crochets and does needlework. And we've also got Lorraine, who's done glasswork.
The exhibition runs until the 21st of September at the South Alive Community Art Space in the South City Mall. I'm Sharon Rees for The South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on The South Today. A meeting in Invercargill last night was addressed by former Colombian citizens as well as Southlanders preparing to welcome the first refugees next year. New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters says his party has thrown its support behind a new hospital for Dunedin. And Green leader James Shaw promises a fourfold increase to the per-student funding for all institutions with the aim to make all courses genuinely accessible to everyone. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome back, Barry Stewart.
Hello, Melissa. Politics, policy, polls, and a young Winston Peters fan. Political editor Dean McKenzie's been out and about, and he picks out the highlights on the day's campaign. So look out for that. Lots of political news in the paper tomorrow.
Seems to be the topic of the month, or
well, absolutely,
last few
of
months
course,
with the election coming
If
up.
we can't get excited now, we'll never get excited. And also look out on Monday for a special edition of World Focus. We've converted it into an election special, so a lot of details in there of each electorate in our circulation area in the south. So something to ponder and some policy options for you to consider. We detail every party and their policy on various issues. So certainly
fantastic.
one to look at before you. So it's a little like a scorecard. So you tick the boxes and see who's giving you the best option. So that's all in a special edition on Monday.
Oh, we'll keep an eye out for that one then.
Absolutely. Trauma team changes at the Southern District Health Board, hopes to save lives through better management of patients. So that's a good news story from the Southern District Health Board. And look out for our pictorial coverage in tomorrow's edition of the Polyfest activities, featuring secondary school pupils in that. So very visual and spectacular shots. Masters golf tournaments are planned for Dunedin, Wanaka and Oamaru as part of the New Zealand Legends Tour in February. So that's a proposal out there, and we look at that issue.
Oh, fantastic. Something for all those golf enthusiasts out there.
Exactly, yes. Yes, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you for that, Barry. And now a look at what's happening with tomorrow's weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Silberhorn Collagen Plus.
Starting with today's southern view, taking of cherry blossoms in Dunedin. And aren't they lovely? Starting with today's situation, our trough of low pressure will develop over the southern districts tomorrow with rain spreading across the region during the day. More fronts will arrive at the weekend with colder southwesterly airflows and showers. To the southern outlook, Balclutha, Catlins, Gore and Lumsden can all expect northerlies, rain and 14. To the central outlook, Alexandra, Queenstown and Wanaka all 14 degrees and Te Anau is 12, and it's northerlies and rain for everyone over there. To the northern outlook, Oamaru is 16 degrees and Timaru 17, and you can both expect northeasterlies and rain later. Amarama and Twizel northerlies rain, and it's 14 for both of you. And here in Dunedin tonight, fine with northeasterlies with an overnight low of 6 degrees. Tomorrow it's cloudy with periods of rain developing late afternoon and northerlies changing to colder southwesterlies. Showers clearing tomorrow night, 16 and 9. And sunny periods and some cloud on Saturday with light westerly winds, 14 and 8. So it's maybe time to mow those spring lawns. And in Invercargill tonight, rain easing later with an overnight low of 8 degrees. Tomorrow cloudy with rain at times and northwesterlies. Winds tending colder southwesterly from the evening with rain easing to showers. 12 and 7 degrees and showers and southwesterlies on Saturday with a high of 11 and a low of 7. And that's our news for this Thursday. For the latest news from the South Today team, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook and at channel39.co.nz. I hope you all have a great evening. Take care. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.